or die. They'll never make me, because the world will never take my heart. You can try to break me. We want it all, we wanna play this part, won't explain or say I'm sorry, I'm unashamed. Gonna show my scars, give a cheer for all the broken. Listen here, because it's who we are. I'm a fan, I'm not a hero, I'm just a boy who wants to sing this song. I'm a man, not a hero. I won't will carry on. And though you're dead and gone, believe me, your memory will carry on. Will carry on. And though you're broken and defeated in a world that sends you reeling, you're weary widow marches.
Every morning there's a halo hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed. I know it's not mine, but I'll see if I can use it for the weekend or a one-night stand. I couldn't understand how to work it out. Oh, once again, as predicted, left my broken heart open and you ripped it out. Something's got me reeling, stopped me from believing, turned me around again. Said that we can do it, oh, you know I want to do it again. Every morning when I wake up, she always rights the wrongs. She always writes, she always writes. Every morning there's a heartache hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed. I know it's not mine and I know she thinks she loves me, but I never can believe what she said. Something so deceiving when you stop believing, turn me around again. Said we couldn't do it, oh, you know I want to do it again. Every morning when I wake up, every morning, baby, every morning when I wake up, she always rights the wrongs for me, baby. She always rights the wrongs for me. Every morning there's a halo hanging from the corner of my girlfriend's four-post bed. Well, I know it's not mine, but I'll see if I can use it for the weekend or a one-night stand.
All right. Well, I can't introduce you now. We're in between we're in between tracks, so we gotta wait. Hold on. Oh, it's got a long tail on it too. Okay. Here we go. Sure. Fine. Welcome to the Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for Warm Takes. Please welcome to the stage your host, Corey Behringer.
Hey! Well, hello there. Oh my goodness, we have an audience, a bona fide paid audience, and I love it. I'm so happy right now. Hi, I'm Corey. It's good to meet you. Thank you for showing up to our show. I appreciate it. Do you know what this show is? Do you have any clue? Any tiny little idea of what this show could possibly be? All right, that's actually pretty much what it is. But it's a little bit more convoluted than that. So what this is Warm Takes. What this is, it's a improvised stand-up show. So unlike most, honed, improv shows where you're going to see a bunch of people up here acting out a scene based on a suggestion, this is just going to be one person with a mic, and I'm going to be over there throwing random topics at them, and they're just going to riff on it. And they're going to create stand-up for you in the moment. And, some of it probably won't land. That's like the beauty of it, is that, they're just going to keep working it out in front of you, and hopefully we'll all find the funny. That's the intention anyway. I'm going to kind of, display some of that for you. I'm going to demonstrate. That's the word I was searching for. Demonstrate. We all got there together. So I'm going to demonstrate that by first giving you some of my hot takes, my scorching hot takes. I'm going to tell you what I think about some stuff first. This is not improv. This is stuff I've actually worked on. I think the cutest thing about biker gangs has got to be the matching vests. Yes, right? Because it's not just because they look adorable. Of course they do. It's the thought that goes into them. It's the time and attention to detail. Those vests are their way of saying, hey, we've been thinking about you, and we'd like you to join our crime club. Isn't that just the sweetest? I love that so much about biker gangs. You have no idea. Because the more you think about it, the more you realize you can't just go to the store and buy one of those vests, prefab, ready to go. No, someone has to take the time to hand stitch all the tough guy stuff on there for you, which means, of course, that someone had to stop doing crank for a couple minutes. And if that ain't love, I don't know what is. I simply do not. Speaking of love, I'm in it. Yeah, not to brag. I'm a happily married fella. I've been married a little over 2 years now. My wife kept her maiden name, or as she likes to call it, her name, because that's what it is. It has been for literally her entire life. Who am I to change it now? That's what I thought. In fact, I think it's a little weird we even use the term maiden name. It feels archaic, doesn't it? Maiden name. I don't know about you, but I associate the word maiden with pretty much just one other thing: dragons. You see, dragons kidnap and devour maidens. It's kind of their whole shtick. And I guess in that sense, I do feel some relief knowing that my wife will probably just confuse every dragon she meets. They'll think she's a maiden, but just before they swoop down, they'll see her wedding ring and be like, pass. I like 'em young and unwed, and then just fly into the night. That was my impression of a dragon. I think you can tell I've really honed that one. I'm going to do some other impressions for you a little later. That was just a little taste of my ability. I'm gonna try some newer little bits because I don't like open mics. I run one, and I don't like actually doing them. So this is the show I get to do that in. I don't know if you could tell this about me, but I smell pretty good. And this is because my wife thought I should have a signature scent, apart from the one that my body makes every day for free. So what we did was we ordered this box of sample scents from a fancy perfume company that she likes, and we did a blind sniff test so I could better determine which one really spoke to my soul, and I found one. And after I found it, we read all the names of the scents to find out which one describes me. Like, this is who I am. And they all had these really fancy French names, except for the one that I picked out, which was Fat Electrician. I'm not sure what it means, but I am flattered that it thinks I can fix anything. I do like that about it. This one won't work. I'm just going to start that right now. This next one won't work, but it's something that's on my mind that I do want to just get out there. I've decided who the saddest cereal box character is. Have you given this much thought? Like, of all the cereal mascots, I decided which one is the most pathetic, really. And it's Fruit Brute. Are we familiar with Fruit Brute? He's one of the monsters, because there's the monster cereals of Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Frankenberry, 2 berries, lazy, by the way. But no, I believe it's Fruit Brute is the most pathetic cereal, because Fruit Brute is a guy, okay, first off, he's just a guy. He's a guy who loves fruit so much it turns him into a werewolf. And furthermore, it's a werewolf that doesn't know how to spell fruit. And I think that's just very sad. Yeah, it's probably more of a written joke. Yeah, that's what I'll tell myself on the drive home. It was more of a written joke, really. It didn't need my delivery. My wife and I went to a sex shop recently. Now, Sacramento has quite a few of these sort of trendy, hipster-friendly sex shops. I gotta say, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. No, I prefer my sex shops to be dingy and suspicious. That's more of the vibe I'm going for. Because it's about the overall experience, right? It's about the ambiance of the sex shop. You know, when I walk through the door, I want to feel like I'm just doing something dirty just by being there. You know, it's about that experience. Here's my litmus test for a sex shop. If the floors aren't sticky, they're not getting my business. That's how you know you're going to have a good time, are the sticky floors. I'm not going to tell you what we purchased at the sex shop. I'm not that kind of comic, okay? I will tell you that it takes 2 AA batteries, and we put it in my butt, because that's where it goes, okay? Where would you put it? My wife? That's disgusting. Get out. Get out right now. It's not the audience I want. On a somewhat related note, I did recently come out as bi. I came out to my wife first. I thought that was a good place to start. Yeah, it's been a fun sort of last, however many months it's been of discovery. It's been nice. I grew up conservative Christian, which actually wasn't very much fun at all. I don't recommend it. Don't do it. I know my conservative Christian parents didn't want any of their 3 sons to turn out queer. They ended up with 2 of them, though. Because, to paraphrase their favorite cliche, the Lord works in fabulous ways. I know my dad especially didn't want any of his sons to turn out a little, funny. Because he would do this thing when we were watching TV as a family. Whenever 2 guys would kiss on screen, he would need to make a big show of how disgusted he was. He's like, oh, it's just so gross. So he could set that example for his straight, manly sons. And it worked, clearly. But he would do that. And, we thought that was dumb enough. But he took it a step further, because he would also make those same reactions when 2 ladies kissed. And even as little kids, we were like, what are you, gay? This is amazing. We're 10, and this is the greatest thing we've ever seen. It's our favorite. Let's see here. Yeah, let's do some riffs. I'm gonna show you now the art of riff. I'm gonna. Usually I do this with my co-host Emma Haney. They could not be here tonight. So in lieu of that, I'm gonna take one suggestion each from the other 3 comics we have on the show tonight. So can you give me one? Oh, that I could take in a fight? Oh, I don't know if you can tell this about me, but I'm pretty scrappy. I'm a scrappy individual because I'm not afraid of a below-the-belt hit, like truly. Because I feel like if I'm engaged in a situation where I'm already completely out of my comfort zone, because I don't want to fight, but if I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight to win. And for that reason, I think I'm going to say... So you want to know the largest? Just pure size, okay, that I could take. Oh. I mean, I feel like it's a foregone conclusion. All the primates are out of the question. None of the. No, I cannot take a primate. I just know this about myself, and I feel like that took a lot of guts for me to admit. I'm brave. Are we excluding things outside of the mammals? Or does it need to be a mammal? I can't put a fish on land. How did you know I wanted to put a fish on land? I feel like I could fuck up a mermaid. Can we go fantasy? Do they have to be real? I could beat up a mermaid. But we would have to be... I'm going to stick to your rules. We're not going to go on land, but shallow water. We're going to stick to we're going to be in a pool. We're not going to be in the ocean. It's going to be somewhat neutral grounds. We're going to be in a pool, and we're going to be in the shallow end of it, so I don't have to try to tread water, because that's not happening. I'm not going to tread water. And I feel like I would be able to get plenty in before, ultimately realizing the error of my ways. Just crushing such a beautiful creature, but it probably started it, is what I'm assuming. It probably started it. Becky, what you got for me?
Have you ever been close to being fired?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Why would you do this to me? I'm an honest person, and now I'm going to tell you a sad story. Oh, no. So do you have anything that, keeps you up at night? Truly, things that you have done that you wouldn't do time for necessarily, because really the time is already being served up here. Because any moment that it comes back around, you're like, oh, I'm back in sad jail now. So I think this is safe enough to say. Enough time has passed. The company has basically folded. What's he getting at here? So I used to be an art framer at a large art framing company that we won't name because I'm a little scaredy cat. But there was a piece that I had accidentally destroyed, basically. So and it was a very sentimental piece. That's what made this so difficult, is because it wasn't something that could be replaced. It was a letter that this person had received from a I won't say famous person, but they were of note, and they were in athletics of some sort. I'm trying to be as vague as possible, because who knows, maybe this person is a comedy fan who's also litigious. And so I was supposed to have mounted this piece onto a board, and at some point in the process, it landed face first on some adhesive, and we were able to get it back off. We could get it off, but it was ruined, And here is, so I was wrecked enough just by that, and I wanted to quit. I wanted to just step away from it all. And my manager at the time was like, no, that's not an option, because if we own up to this, the company will probably get sued. We will probably go under. We can't handle that, basically. So we're going to forge this. And so the person had another person who they knew who was excellent at forgery. And they made a new letter. They straight up just made a new letter, and then I framed that letter. I still did my job, and I made it beautiful, you guys. It was a gorgeous piece. So beautiful. How beautiful was it, Corey? So beautiful, she cried. She cried when she saw it. She wept in the store. She wept because of how profoundly affected she was by it. And I didn't say a goddamn word. Never, other than to Jacqueline. She knew. And I didn't get fired for that. Somehow I didn't get fired for that. But the writing was kind of on the wall. Also, just for the company in general, I kind of knew that the company was kind of going out anyway. And I just, after that experience, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I will not allow myself to be in a position where I could possibly make that happen again. I'm not going to do that. So I moved on. But I really liked the job for a while. And that was the only thing that I ever, not even destroyed, but that was the only thing that I ever messed up that needed any kind of addressing, really. So fuck you for that. And, we squeezed a couple chuckles out of it. I don't know. I'm going to do one more riff, and then we're going to move on. And the riff is going to be brought to you by the next comic. Jess, what do you want me to talk about? Keep it light, for the love of God. Oh, gosh. I am one of those people that I am so hesitant, but I'm ready. I'm not away from the horn. I hover over the horn because I'm prepared. I'm going to make it happen. But I won't make it happen too soon. I'm not like totally trigger happy with it because that bothers me too. Like you don't need to just honk for any reason, but it's an important tool to use, So I'm constantly hovering. What do you think the appropriate time for a green light change to give a honk is? Never? You don't think you should ever honk at someone in front of you? No. But does it ruin it because you did wrong? Yeah, and that's why. And that is exactly why I think we should install a brand new kind of horn that's gentler. I think it should come with an apology for people who aren't very confident like me. It should be a horn that goes like, I'm so sorry to do this, but I really got to go somewhere. Or something just like, no, tell me I'm so sorry. Just like, oh, please don't hate me, but I really got to go. Just like that same kind of timid, mousy. If they could make a horn for mice, like that is what I would like to install in my tiny little Honda Spark. So Chevy Spark. I'm not a car guy, but yeah, that's what I do. So, but yeah, I'll lay on it. And I used to have. Why was that the funny part? I don't know. But but the other cars I had strong masculine horns. This one is so. Like, I don't use this term as a derogatory in any other context, but this horn is a little pussy bitch. Like, this is like, hank, hank. Like, it's like so like little and tiny that I'm also hesitant to ever use it because I'm worried they're just gonna like laugh at me. Like, they're gonna pull over, and then I'm gonna pull over because I follow directions, and then they're gonna get out of their car and they're gonna give me a wedgie. Like that's what happens when I honk my horn. When I honk my horn, like, it talks back to me and says, like, who are you kidding? Like, who are we fooling here? I don't know. Anyway, that's my time tonight, but I'm going to be on that other mic chatting it up with our comics. Give it up for all the comics you're about to see. This is a very fun show, and keep that going for your next comic, Jess Harding.
I hate getting honked at. I hate it. I wanted to know if I have to avoid you on the road. Because, like, people honk at me all the time, and I'm like, you just ruined my whole day. I'm going to think about it for the rest of my day now. It's going to marinate. So I'm going to do a little dance for you that I choreographed. It's not a literal dance. I'm just going to tell you some jokes. And then he's going to give me some topics. Cool? Cool. So I really like stand-up comedy a lot. I'm a big fan of comedians because they're super weird in person. They're the weirdest people you'll ever meet. Like, walking down the street, don't really want to talk to you. They'll keep their head down. So awkward. So much social anxiety, right? Like, all of them. And then as soon as you put a mic in their hand, they're like, I'm going to tell you about the first time I did coke and anal. It was the same night. It's incredible, the switch that happens. But, like, I step off this stage, don't talk to me. Don't even do it. I'm just going to be weird. I'm going to be like, I don't know. I watch anime. I don't actually. I just assume that's what weird people do. I want to come clean about something, though. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Can I come clean? Is it safe? Cool. This is a good confirmation. One guy said, feel really comfortable and safe. So I'm one of the bisexual women that's dating a man. I'm sorry. Everything that's bad, it's our fault. It's true. All the bad stuff in the world, I take blame for it. I think, like, every time a bisexual woman starts dating a man, like a plaid shirt and a sports bra go up in flames. and like a couple driving in their Subaru, like their head gasket blows and their dog runs away. It's because a bisexual woman started dating a man. Every time I tell this joke in front of a group of like it's like in Lodi or like Vacaville or something, they're like, yeah, men. And then every time it's in Midtown, they're like, shame on you, lady. I kind of imagine it's like a fiery gauntlet of dicks. Can you imagine it right here? It's like a pit of dicks on fire. And that's kind of what it's like being a bisexual woman. And we're kind of like, you got to get through the fiery gauntlet, and you're kind of like, I like women. And then one's just like on fire enough, not big enough, just on fire enough to swat you down, and then you're in a relationship. That's how it works. My partner's not that bad though. He wears dresses, so I get a pass in the gay community because he does do that sometimes. They're like, okay, fine, you don't have a real man. So I did just move in with him though. It's been cool. It's been really hard to concentrate on comedy and shows and like writing though with the ball gag and the leash on all the time. It's been really hard to focus. But he does let me outside to go to the bathroom. So that's been a positive for me. Being able to release myself. One thing I did learn about moving in with him though is that I'm the grosser one. I'm like way grosser than him by a long shot. And I know, I feel like you might understand me here. I don't know why, but you would understand me here. The more buns in the hair, right? Like I can tell by your hair and my hair, we're both gross. The more buns in the hair, the dirtier the hair is, right? Like if you got 2 buns, if you ever see a girl with 3 buns and you're taking her home, bring her to the shower first. Just start there. I was at a show once, and this guy had 2 buns in his hair, and I had 2 buns in my hair. And he turned around and looked at me, and we didn't speak words, but we understood each other, and we started communicating like telepathically. And he put his foot down and started lowering his head towards me. And I knew what he was doing, so I started lowering my head towards him. We were in the middle of like Ace of Spades, and we just touched buns. And like all of our memories passed into each other's bodies, and we started to like ascend. It was kind of amazing. And I was like, oh, you were abused as a child. He was like, yeah, you're abused currently. I saw the ball gag. All right, call back. All right, that's it for me. I want a topic. Give me a topic. Save me. Bail me out
Way
here.
to kink shame yourself.
I'm not abused.
Talk about lawn gnomes.
Lawn gnomes.
Yeah.
Okay. I always wished that I had them growing up because I grew up in this village in New York, and there was this area that had we called them the gingerbread houses. They were like where the rich people lived. I lived by the train tracks, and so they always had lawn gnomes. So I associated lawn gnomes with wealth. Which now I'm realizing, as I'm saying it out loud, doesn't make any sense. But I was like, oh, if you have lawn gnomes or like gargoyles, you have money, right? And then maybe they come alive at night and they like trim your bushes. Both bushes.
Both of them.
All the bushes.
Talk about boy bands. What's your take on boy bands?
I hate boy bands.
Yeah.
I'm the worst white girl ever. Like I don't do white girl stuff. Well, I do a lot of white girl stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of white girl stuff. No, but like I have to like I'm teenage angsty about it. I'm just a hipster white girl, really. I like the boy band stuff I've never bought into. But I think that it would be fun to make one. Like if I managed a boy band. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What would I call it? I would name a boy band.
You tell us.
I'm thinking. Let me marinate on this. I feel like it'd have to be a good pun, and they'd have to do choreographed dances because I feel like that's a like requirement of boy bands. Yeah. Like you have to. But I guess I would preserve them from the 90s still. They'd have matching jackets. I'd make them look like a motorcycle gang.
Oh,
just for you, Corey.
Oh, well, thank you.
I can call them the Corys.
I've actually considered having a band called Corey and the Corys.
Corey and the Corys. Yeah. I feel like that'd be like an a cappella group, and you'd wear matching sweaters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These guys are nice.
Yeah, no, you would be really nice. Maybe somebody plays a harmonica.
Well, yeah, just at
Yeah.
the beginning so we can all know the key. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, what's that guy that had like, what's that guy? Blues Traveler guy. He has like the harmonica brace. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You'd have one of those.
Yeah.
I think you would be the one that wore it.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah, Corey and the Corys.
Talk about cemeteries.
Cemeteries. Well, I don't believe in cemeteries. Is that like against someone's religion?
Now, when you say you don't believe in them, do you just not agree with them, or do you not believe they exist?
Okay, well, as much as I'd like to, I can't deny their existence. There are cemeteries. I feel like we could probably just put people like maybe vertical in the ground instead of horizontal and save some space. Or make it into like a forest. I feel like it's really weird to me that it's just like a bunch of tombstones.
Yeah.
I personally don't want to be in a cemetery when I die. I also don't want to be cremated. I think I'd like to just like be somewhere else.
Sounds like you just don't want to die.
No, I definitely want to die. I would like to die, Corey. Maybe turn me into like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh.
like mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then put me in a PB&J.
Is that what you'd like to be reincarnated
Yeah,
as?
I would like to be psilocybin, actually.
Yes, specifically. You just want to affect other people. I think that's very
it would be a
selfless of you.
bad trip. It would
Yeah.
be a very bad trip. Fever dream, really.
Have you ever had a bad trip?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I don't even know if I want to.
After what I laid on that stage, I think that maybe you can throw me a fucking bone.
Okay, I feel like I haven't had that many trips. I don't really do psychedelics anymore. But yeah, you get the message, you hang up the phone. Take that advice. If you get nothing from me today, get the message, hang up the phone. I didn't get the message, but I still hung up. Trying to think. The worst one, I thought my hands were melting off one time. It was the first time I ever did acid. That's not like I won't go to jail for that, right? You don't do time. You don't do time for
Not at all.
acid. People are doing acid everywhere.
Yeah.
I was in college and we went to this show, and the ground turned into a conveyor belt, and I couldn't get out of the venue. I was 18, I think, and some man carried me on his back out, and then I told him that my hands were melting, and he put me in a convertible car. I know, thinking back on it, I'm so lucky to be alive still.
Yeah, that was like the scariest part of the story was the convertible.
Yeah, it was a friend of mine. They drove us back to college, and the whole time I couldn't conceptualize if we were inside or outside because it's both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying that. And we were at stoplights and cars are on. I was like, we're inside and also outside.
All right, last topic. Talk about scuba diving.
Scuba diving's for rich people with a lot of money. It's a waste. Does anyone scuba dive here? I think I say that because I could never afford to be like an avid scuba diver. Like people who like take it up as like a hobby or their sport. I'm like, you have way too much money. You know how expensive scuba diving is? It's so expensive. Yeah. You have to fill those tanks and you're defying nature. Like you're not allowed to be breathing in there and you're doing it anyways.
It ain't right.
It's not right. It's not natural, son. Come back up on the land of breathing.
Actually, do one more because I realize we have a little more time to fill than I had anticipated originally when there was another person on the show. Talk about hitchhiking.
I can tell you a story about a time I hitchhiked because obviously I'm very loose with getting into cars with strangers and things. I did stuff. There was one time that I drove from New York to Colorado to Texas. So I picked up a friend in Colorado, and then we moved him out of his house with all of his stuff, went to a festival in Texas. My parents had no idea I even left the state. I was 19. I know, that's so bad. And the car broke down when we were like 2 miles from the festival, so it was like a 3-day from now problem, you know, because we're at a festival, so let's not worry about how we're going to get home. And so we hitchhiked from where the car broke down into the festival, and we got into the car with 3 girls from my hometown in New York. We were in Austin, Texas. Isn't that wild? I know. So lucky I'm not dead. That's the second time that this has worked out really well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing something right.
I don't know. Or wrong. I feel like I should just get taken out.
Jess Harding, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
I keep that going for your next comic, the very funny Sam Harrison.
All right, how are you guys doing? Is this working for you? All right, you can tell I'm more of an improv guy because of the sheer terror I have at the mic stand. Just taking the mic out, moving it over there. I would love to adjust it. I would love to get it at the right height. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to get it over there and not look at it till I'm done. Hello. My name's Sam. I'll just get you a little bit about me. It's been a big year for me. I got my first tattoo. I got married. Big year for my left arm in particular. Which is pretty great because I'm right-handed. So for the other 30 years, it's been this guy getting all the credit. And finally, it's lefty's time in the sun. Except not too much time in the sun because of the tattoo. Let's see. But it's a big year for me. I'm starting a new job tomorrow. I'm going to work for a weed company. Woo! But don't get too excited because I'm an accountant. Being an accountant for a weed company, I imagine, is a lot like doing craft services for a porno. Like, it's not the fun part of the job. But I took the job because I thought, it's an interesting industry, lots of growth for me personally, but I'm not really that big of a weed guy myself. I dabble, I gave it a shot now and then, but it just doesn't really seem to do for me what it does for a lot of other people. Some people, I know friends who will take an edible and then they'll go out to the bar all night and they'll take hits on their vape pen and then they'll drive home. I take an edible and then I don't do my laundry because I'm afraid I'll see a bug in the garage. Like, it's just different. It's just different for me. I think edibles are usually way too strong. It's a big part of it. 10 milligrams as the base one, as the basic, is ridiculous. It's like if the basic for beer, like a normal amount of beer, was just vodka. Like, that's that's not correct. Did you guys vote? Any voters here? I don't care. I'm not a big voter. I only vote because I get bullied very badly if I don't. It's exhausting. Like, I can't learn all these things. I can't learn about all these different judges. I got room for one judge in my heart. His first name's Mike, and he made King of the Hill. But it's ridiculous. We just keep having to learn all these things and all these props. And they keep asking us the same things every year. It's like having a friend who's in a bad relationship, and they just keep coming to you with the same problem. It's like, look, California, you have to figure your shit out with dialysis clinics, okay? You can't keep asking me. I'm going to tell you the same thing. No. I think I already forgot what I voted on that one. But, I just can't keep doing all this unpaid emotional labor for you, Gavin Newsom. All right, that's it. That's all my stuff. Let me have it, Corey.
Talk about mud wrestling.
Mud wrestling. I think it's kind of an odd thing to find sexy. It's very dirty. I guess that's the appeal to some people, is that you are seeing people wrestle in the mud and it's supposed to be very erotic because look how dirty they are. But I don't like that. All I can think of is how much laundry they're going to have to do. They're going to have to throw those shoes away. I did a mud run once, and thinking that would be fun, and I had to throw away a really nice pair of shoes that I bought just for the mud run. So, remember in the mid-2010s when we were all doing mud runs all the time? What was that about?
What was that about? Like, what was the appeal? Was it the end feast? Because there was usually like a big party at the end, right? I never did one. I just heard tell of that.
I didn't get invited if there was one. I just went to a big field out in like Rancho Cordova that they had like a racetrack or something. And I do remember it was pretty fun. They had obstacles. You had to climb a thing. You had to go under a thing. And this was when I was in college, so I could still naturally run more than 400 feet at a time. And it was a pretty good time. But at the end, it was you're covered in mud and you have to go back to your car and then you go back to the rest of your life. And why did we do that?
Talk about joining the military.
Wow. You really want the unfiltered opinions.
Give it.
It's tough. It's a tough choice that I think if you do it, you probably have either you need a lot of money or it's like a family thing. And I feel like these are two very different kinds of people that are funneling into this same career path of like, I need to pay for college, or my college has been paid for many times over by Rutherford Jenkins III, you know, like. And yeah, these are the two people that are really feeding into the military these days. You know, you got your West Points and then your West Philadelphia.
It was a stretch, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I thought it worked. Let's see. Talk about the circus.
The circus. Oh man, don't even get me started on the circus. The circus is fine. I think it's funny that it's been classed up into Cirque du Soleil, where you take just the most down-to-earth, just the most salt-of-the-earth kind of entertainment, you know? You got elephants, you got dudes in motorcycles doing this, you got the trapeze, and then you make it fringe and you charge tourists $175 a ticket to see it, and it's the hottest thing in Las Vegas. It's crazy. Whereas, you know, think about what you remember from the circus as a child. A tiger, popcorn, a tent. And then what do you remember from Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas? A mime, a guy on a boat pushing a laundry basket around, somebody jumping from 900 feet in the air and doing a backflip into a pool of water. They're not even the same thing. I'm nostalgic for the circus. I didn't realize this because I've seen Cirque du Soleil much more recently than an actual circus, and I just realized what a fraud I am.
What do you think about succulents?
Oh, succulents they're designed to make you feel bad about yourself because everyone says that they're the easiest plant to take care of. And that all you have to do is just put it near a window and give it a little spritz of water every now and then. There is more to it than that because that is not working out in our house. We do have a couple that we got from New Glory that we planted in beer cans that seem to be doing pretty well, which is a pretty cool thing to do. But other than that, it's hard. They're a trick, and their big plant is designing them to make you feel bad and fail. Don't let big plant win. Succulents are hard.
Someone's brave enough to say it. I love it. Motorcycles.
Ooh, too scary for me. I would love to be a motorcycle guy. I feel like they have a lot of advantages. They're eco-friendly. You can cut through traffic like that guy who cuts through traffic. You can park fucking anywhere, apparently. Like, it seems like everything about motorcycles rules, but they're so scary because I don't think, if you talk to anyone who's ridden a motorcycle for more than like 8 minutes, they're like, oh yeah, I've crashed really hard at least 3 times. All of them, 100% crash rate. It's just part of motorcycling. And so for that reason, you know, I'm kind of floppy as a person. I don't think I could take one. I think one crash would be the end for me. So I would love to be a motorcycle guy. As it is, that's another person's dream.
Talk about your MySpace page. Walk us through it.
Gym class heroes, Cupid's chokehold playing in the background.
I'm really glad that you started with the song because I've asked this prompt before to people and they didn't tell me what the song was. I was like, come on, you're holding out. I know there's a song.
When you load the MySpace page, you don't see something first. You are assaulted.
Exactly.
With the biggest hits from Fueled by Ramen. So that was playing, and as a little side story, my girlfriend at the time got very mad at me because that was my song. Because the chorus is sampled from the, I don't remember what the name of it is, but the chorus is, take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got.
It's Breakfast in America.
Thank you. I didn't know what it was called. Not much of a girlfriend, never seemed to get a lot. And so I fixated on the verses, which are like, she's really nice, she's really good. And so I thought this would be a sweet song to have as my MySpace song. But she got very mad at me. She was like, what does it mean that you never seem to get a lot? Uh-oh. Which, I mean, to be fair, it was high school and I was not getting a lot. No one was. It was high school. We shouldn't have been. We're children. Let's see. What else? I definitely learned a little HTML for it. We all did. Neopets first, and then into MySpace is where we got our web coding starts. The top 8 was a real struggle. My top 1 was a match. But then the other order, I feel like my top 2 or 3, I was there like top like 7, top 6. And that was a real sticking point for me. I felt so insecure about that. I don't think I was a lot of people's top 2 or top 3. I think I was a good casual friend for some people, kind of the back half. You fill it out, after the dog, before the sister. We'll slot Sam in there, But it was good, and the more we get stuck in Facebook, it feels like social media was always meant for us to go somewhere for 3 years and then move on. And then Mark fucking Zuckerberg came in, and we couldn't get out of Facebook because they just kept buying everything up. And that's why Facebook sucks. Whereas if we just did the natural cycle of Zynga, Friendster, MySpace, the other ones, and we just kept that going, I think social media would be better and the elections would still work.
Wow. I almost want to let you end on that, but I'm not gonna. Let's do one more topic here. Talk about video games.
Video games are very fun, but I just play the same like 3. I think a lot of people are always into this next big thing, and it's 150 hours, and the story is amazing, and they got Giancarlo Esposito to voice the main character, and there's all these cool things about it. And I just like to play Rocket League, where you're a car and you hit a ball, and that's what you do, and it's 5 minutes at a time, and I play it for 6 years, and I never switch. It's ridiculous. I can't get into these big, long story games because it's just a weird way to tell a story. If your story's going to take 100 hours to tell me, do it in like a show, do it in like a podcast. I can't sit and commit to swinging a big sword around and riding a horse around the countryside to find the next little snippet of story. It's just a weird medium. Video games should be for stepping on turtles and driving cars.
Sam Harrison, everybody. I know a closer when I hear one. And speaking of closer, are you guys ready for your headlining comic? Yes, give it up for Becky Lynn.
Okay, Sam. First rule: you gotta put the mic stand back, and then now I take the mic out, and then I put the mic stand back. So I just want it, write that down, take the note. You'll use it next time. Hi, you guys. How you doing? You guys doing good? You've been enjoying the show? I saw you in here before I came in here. You guys, I appreciate you too. You were late, but it's totally fine. No, I'm very happy to be here with an audience of not just comics. So thank you so much. You guys, I just wanted to talk about being adopted because I'm adopted. Are there any of you guys rescues too, or no? Just me, that's fine. I was actually adopted by an older white family, so like Yahtzee, It's so stupid, I just can't stop saying it. My mom was a gambling addict, and now so am I. We played a lot of dice games in my household. We actually played, this is off topic, we played Vegas Stakes. You guys remember the game Vegas Stakes? It was a Super Nintendo casino game. The target demographic was definitely white women over 60. And my mom would sit, we had a family room upstairs that had like one of those big, like old big screen TVs, that had like the ribs on them that you could like run your fingernails across and it would make noise. We had one of those in our family room. And my mother would sit in there in our family room and chain smoke cigarettes and play fake slots on this fucking Super Nintendo game. And I'd be like, Mom, can I play Super Mario Brothers? Give me 20 minutes. And then she'd just light another cigarette and just press the A button over and over. So sad in hindsight. Really ripped away a lot of my childhood. Didn't know I was holding on to that still until right now. So working past that, being adopted is so wild, especially being adopted by an older white family. And I get a lot of like, okay, so usually I tell people that I'm adopted, and they ask like more questions sometimes, like, do I have other siblings? And I do. My parents already had they had 4 biological children and 3 grandchildren when they adopted me, right? Yeah, usually I tell people that, they're like, oh, wow, and they had so much love left to give, and I don't fucking buy it, right? Because it's really hard for me to wrap my mind around the idea that a decently healthy, at the time, white couple would give up their best, traveling years, right, to deal with puberty for a 5th time. The math just doesn't add up. But I recently came into a lot of time to think about it, the pandemic. And I think I figured it out, right? I think I cracked the code. My parents' biological children, they are who they are. And that is troubled. Okay. And we're talking like a variety of different issues, mental illness, addiction, conservatism. And I think that my parents were just trying to figure out how much of that was biologically their fault, so serving a fun purpose in this family. It is like very wild being a Black child adopted by a white family, and like people love to share their opinions about that as well. My brother, actually, he used to love to come up to me and be like, you, a Black child being raised by a white family, you're sort of like a cat being raised by dogs. Yes, that silence is deserved. It is a weird fucking thing to say to a 5-year-old, right? And then over and over again for decades. But the older I get, the more I think that like maybe he was onto something, right? Because stick with me on this. Do you guys like cats? Any cat people over here? Yes, you like cats. We love them, right? Because they are self-sufficient. They have the capacity to mind their own business. They're pretty clean. And a lot of dogs are racist. So I think that maybe he might have been on to something, He said it. I was just trying to connect the dots. I really think that's all the material that I wanted to do. Let's give me some topics.
Talk about the mafia.
The mafia. I just feel like, hasn't it been long enough?
I am so enthralled with where you could be going with this.
I think I was very on board with organized crime for some time. And it just feels like very unfair that they got their own movie genre, And then also, I mean, in the year 2022, I guess I'm looking more at like organized crime as like media, right? And I kind of feel like the mafia itself just really didn't diversify enough, and that bothers me. I just want to see more representation in the mafia, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie The Kitchen? Is that what it's called, with the women? Okay, never mind. Very good. It's very good film, and that was, how many years did it take for us to get the mafia women on board to start running shit, Those are my thoughts. Yeah.
Well, I feel like one solution could be to insert yourself into those situations and, be the change you want to see, Becky.
But I just love the West Coast.
True.
And I feel like the mafia, that's very just like an East Coast thing. And, we have all the agriculture over here. I'm going to stay where the food's at.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes. I actually am pretty sure that there's a ghost in my house right now, which reminds me it is time for me to like cleanse. But yes, there's absolutely a ghost in my daughter's room. I think she's fine.
Yeah.
She's not like bad, but she just has very particular tastes, okay? Because before we had my daughter, her room was my office. And I was like very excited to finally have like my own office, my own workspace. So I put up a wall tapestry in there, right? And it was I did it in like a very lazy way, which I think is actually what she doesn't like about it, is that like we have plaster walls, so it's very hard to like tack anything into them. You have to use like anchor screws. It's a lot of work. So I was like, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I ordered these little hooks off Amazon that they have adhesive on the back.
Command
so
strips.
Yeah, well, not command strips. They're like a little bit different.
But with the hooks on.
They have
command
little
strips
metal
makes those.
hooks,
Yeah.
and then they're like plastic flat, like clear adhesive. I actually have some
Gotcha.
in my shower as well. But so I put those up because they're easy to just take down with like a blow dryer. And then what I did was I put up like 5 of them on the wall, and then I put binder clips on my wall tapestry. I know, but I was trying to make it work. I was trying to do the best I could. So I put binder strips on the top layer, and then I hung up the binder clips onto the little hooks, right? And then I left to go do a show or something. I left with Ben. I come back, and my wall tapestry has been yanked off the wall, and it was not. It was not hung in a way that it could have just casually happened. And the door was closed because we have a cat. So I was like, oh, maybe the cat did it. No, the door was closed when we came back. So I'm pretty sure that was just like the ghost way of saying like, bitch, respect my house. Don't, if you want a wall tapestry, then like put it up appropriately. Yeah, but I do think she's still in there because she like turns the light on in my kids' room sometimes. But I don't know, she's cozy. I'm used to it. It was her house first, so I'm just kind of
That's a
making it
very
work.
solid perspective on that. I like that.
yeah. I mean, who am I to try to run what happens in another dimension? That's not my job.
I want to know what your take on butter boards is. Like,
Here's the thing.
okay, and I'm right off the bat, I'm so relieved that that was your reaction.
You know, well, I mean, hold on, because like my biggest issue with butter boards is that I keep seeing them on wooden cutting boards, and like, don't get me wrong, I think that like I get why you want to put them on a wooden cutting board. Like, it looks very pretty, and that's great. And wooden cutting boards do need like oiling, like they need to be taken care of. The problem is when you're putting this butter on a wooden like cutting board with all of these like herbs and spices and whatnot, all of those flavors are seeping through. So if you go and you try to cut like, I don't know, a lemon or cantaloupe or some shit, then now you have this like spicy garlicky cantaloupe because you didn't know how to use the proper cutting board to make a butter board. But like, also genuinely, butter is so expensive, and I just feel like if I'm buying butter, I'm not smearing it on a board and then like watching other people like it's just gross to me.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'd rather put butter in a bowl and let people put it on their bread or their crackers or whatever the fuck they want it on. Not on board. Yeah.
Love it. What's something you're good at that maybe some people don't know about?
You guys, I'm good at like so many things. You want to know what I'm very good at is in high school, I judged milk quality and dairy foods. I was an FFA for 4 years. Actually, no, I was an FFA for 3 years. I also showed animals. But I am very good at smelling and tasting the defects in any milk products. So I can like sniff out milk that's like, I can only drink really fresh milk. I'm also lactose intolerant, which like just ignore that part. I know that it's like weird that I even did this at all. But lactate is a thing, and I really just wanted to be involved in FFA in a way that didn't require me to like be knee deep in shit. So anyways, so I can taste like defects in milk. I can taste like if somebody, I can do like a blind taste test. If somebody was like, "Hey, taste this milk and tell me if it came in a cardboard carton or in a plastic carton," I could tell you. I also don't recommend buying milk in glass or plastic. If you guys are doing that, highly recommend buying it in cardboard. It will last longer and it will taste fresher. Oh. I can identify like 15 different types of cheese without like just tasting them. I can identify the difference between like real and artificial dairy products. Not like obviously I know people know the difference between like oat milk and soy milk and almond milk, but I can tell the difference between like real and artificial sour cream, real and artificial cheese, real and artificial, like a lot of times, like if you go to a discount store, you'll see the cheese is $1 or something, but it's technically like it's cheese shreds, it's artificial cheese, but they're marketing. It does melt like cheese, but it's not actually a dairy product. So anyways, that's something that I am very good at, but not a lot of people would know.
I love that. That's so cool. Let's do
this. This feels like a podcast interview and like not as funny as I would like it to be.
I mean, that's part of the show, folks. Okay, that's part of the show. Well, actually, let's end on this because you and I hope this will take us somewhere. But I believe in you.
Well, if it doesn't, we can just do another one, right?
Exactly, we can. Who cares?
Yeah.
But you said that you really wanted to be involved in FFA in a way that didn't involve stepping in shit. What made you really want to be involved in FFA?
You know what it is I grew up in the Central Valley, which is essentially like the heart of agriculture in California. Mm-hmm. And also I was really passionate about agriculture. I actually wanted to be an ag major, and then I dropped out of college because I found out that a lot of ag departments are actually like insanely racist, and I knew these people were going to be my peers for the rest of my life. So I was like, I'm out. But the reason I wanted to be involved was because I really did become like passionate about agriculture, about where our food comes from, about eating sustainably, about raising meat sustainably. I grew up on a ranch, and we were definitely like the kind of family that would we would raise a cow, pay for the cow to be slaughtered. We would eat the cow for 2 years, and that way we were in control of like what this animal was eating, and that it was that it had like a good quality of life, and we were very much aware of like the sacrifice this animal was making to like feed our family. So I was like very passionate about that and about understanding where our food comes from and just being informed. I think that there's like a lot of just sort of like misunderstandings about agriculture. There's a lot of misunderstandings about how like factory farming works, and then also about how organic and free range works. And I think that I was always really passionate about just like being informed, which is why I kind of fell into wanting to be involved in agriculture. So I did show and fair, but I showed a rabbit because their shit is really small. And I had a Himalayan and a Californian. My Himalayan rabbit was specifically a show rabbit. My Californian was a meat pen, but her name was LaFonda, and she was the coolest fucking rabbit, and we had a lot of fun together. And I took third overall at the Stanislaus County State Fair.
Hell yeah.
For showmanship.
That
Thanks.
deserves an applause break.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I'm reaching here, and at this point, this is just a podcast, but you said that the name was LaFonda, and you were involved in FFA, specifically doing something that Napoleon Dynamite was very good at, which was
milk quality and dairy
milk
foods, which
yes,
I did. And that
exactly.
is not how any of it works. And I also
really?
got bullied a lot because
Yeah.
people thought that like judging milk quality, because, okay, so like when you judge a class of milk, you go into a room with like 17 other students, and there are just tables of classes of milk. So like every table has like 5 different glass jugs of milk, and you pour a little bit into a cup and you swish it around and you like spit it into a 5-gallon bucket on the floor. Which also, side note, did that. I was competing in state finals at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I was judging a class of milk. There were too many of us in the room, and they did not empty out the 5-gallon buckets.
Oh, no.
In between my class going in and the class before us. So I took this little shot of milk and I swished it around and I went and spit it out, and then it came back up in my face. And the worst and most embarrassing part about this was that this guy, his name is Dave Jones, and he was our state treasurer when I was in high school. So he was like a state officer for FFA. And him and I had like been doing, milk quality and dairy foods for like 3 years. He was the only person that saw this milk splash in my face. And you had to be completely silent in these rooms. So he saw me, I saw him, we locked eyes, and I watched milk come out of his nose. Watching me get hit in the face with milk. So it's a really cute moment that we have forever now. 14 years later.
Becky Lynn, everybody.
Hey, thanks.
That's been our show. We do this every second Sunday of the month. I hope you come back to another one. It's a lot of fun. You guys are great. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. That is it for us. But if you want to check more, check out stabcomedytheater.com for our full calendar of events. We stream live improv, stand-up, sketch, podcast, gaming, and music streams. 6-ish nights a week. It depends on the week. This week it's 7, so, that's where you get your money worth. Online audience. Oh, guys. It's Desert Bus season, so we're going to be sending you over to Desert Bus. So enjoy that, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 for Sketchy Friends. Have a good night. Hold on for the break.
And you look for a place to hide. Did someone break your heart inside? You're in ruin. 121 guns. Lay down your arms. Give up the fight. 121 guns. Throw up your arms into the sky.